Louie Gohmert is clearly a scientist, a philosopher, a deep thinker about a number of different subjects, but did you know that he's also an expert on the subject of sex, especially when it comes to sex education for the youth of America? Well, he is, and when you find out why he cares so much about this topic, you're going to hate him even more than you probably already do. So he was speaking to the Christian Conservative Wall Builders Live radio program, massive program. I'm sure many of you are daily watchers of it. And he was talking about why he thinks it's a bad idea for us to teach kids sex education, particularly young kids sex education. And this is what he said. Let the kids be innocent. Let them dream. Let them, play. That's kind of weird. Let them enjoy their life. You don't have to force the sexuality stuff into their life at such a point. It was never intended to be that way. They'll find out soon enough. Mankind has existed for a pretty long time without anyone else having to give a sex ed lesson to anybody. And now we feel like, oh gosh, people are too stupid unless we force them to sit and listen to instructions. It's just incredible. Now here's the problem with that. That may sound good to people who don't think much before they okay a policy or I guess policy preferences, but that's kind of stupid because we do have problems in America. We have problems with teenage pregnancy. We have problems with the transmission of STDs. I, for one, think that maybe taking away a little bit of their wide-eyed childhood innocence is worth it if it stops them from having kids when they're 16 or giving each other antibiotic-resistant gonorrhea and things like that. I think that that's a fine trade to make. And since Louie Gohmert, I have to assume, is incredibly pro-life, you would think he would be willing to make that trade as well. But no, and one of the reasons he's not willing to make the trade is because of, similar to Glenn Beck, the looming specter of the Soviet Union. What does that have to do with this? You would think nothing, but let's listen to how he tells it. And it reminds me so much of the summer that I was an exchange student in the Soviet Union back in the 70s, and I was shocked when they were saying, no, the children don't belong to parents, they belong to the state. And if any parent said anything in front of their children negative about the wonderful Soviet Union, then we will take their children away and give them to somebody more deserving. And I just thought how horribly shocking that was. That of course parents were the ones who loved the children, not the state. And I thought, well, thank God that we don't have that in our country. Yes, thank God that we don't have that in our country. Thank God that we're nowhere close to that, and increasing sex education for the youth of America would not bring us any closer to that. What the hell are you thinking, Louie Gohmert? I mean, I suppose when you're on a program like Wall Builders Live, you can count on both a fairly robust lack of education of the people listening to you and a need to strike out as a pretty extreme fellow. So maybe you have to bring up things like the Soviet Union. I guess we should only be happy that he didn't bring up Mao or Ceausescu or something like that. But this is not what sex education is about. It's about producing a better life for these kids once they become teenagers, once they become adults. When they become sexually active, we want them to be prepared for that, to know things about STDs and how to practice safe sex and things like that. When he would otherwise, I imagine, be speaking about the sexual morals of America, about probably STDs, certainly abortion and teen pregnancy and single moms and things like that, I have a feeling he's not going to strike up a tone that is so deeply relying on references to the Soviet Union. Now, maybe I'm the one being ridiculous since I'm expecting some sort of intellectual or philosophical consistency from Mr. Louie Gohmert. I guess we'll just have to wait and find out.